Hello. Hello.
Hendrix with the 23-month tier 1 sub. Don't care. Bone Musky Dog with the 19-month tier 1 sub. 19 months of Himbo Zebra amazing.
Hello. Hello.
I haven't even finished all my advertisements. And you're just like throwing subs and shit. I was gonna do like a thing as well where it was gonna like reveal in like almost a dramatic sense the outfit I had done for this this Yakuza series. I will be real with you. It is jank. There is no lying about that. There is a bit of jank to it, but that's because, you know, it was a very detailed sort of outfit made in Marvelous Designer, which was done by Unnamed. It was absolutely amazing. And blah, 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 blah. And I am an absolutely terrible 3D artist when it comes to the important stuff like what's Mahuzi? Words. Come on. Retopology, decimation, weight painting, the important shit that comes with making the thingy-majiggy. Alright, here we go. Let me get the so Vignon disappears. We go to camera 7. Alrighty. Ding dong.
Did you see it?
No, I did not see it. You ready for this, chat? I don't know if you're ready for this. Mother flippin' Yakuza. Make us DJ! Check this out! Check this out. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Duh, duh, duh. Ah! No, not the bald! Not the bald! Yay! Hi, everyone! Who Thanos snapped Grant? No, I didn't. Sorry, I clapped my thighs again and he just vanished. Absolutely disrespectful. Kiyu-chan! Hi there, Make Us DJ. Hello, everyone. Hi. How dare you make me bald? So, as you can see, the suit, I had to do a lot of trimming. Ow. And the suit is, like, hardly what it looked like when it was first given to me by Unnamed. They did an amazing job. And then I had to absolutely destroy it in order to have it not only fit me for, like, rigging and shit, but also decimate it so then that way it wasn't, like... Because my zebra is, like, 10,000, like, vertices or something like that. It sounds like a large number, but it's real... And it is a large number. Like, normally you try and have less than that. Like, for example, Solid Snake in Fortnite is, like, 3,000, like, tries or something like that. 3,000 4,000, and meanwhile my guy here is like a whole lot more. This suit, when I first got it, was 250,000. And I just had to rip so much shit out. Cookie for Bookie! I had to rip out so much shit to make it fit. And then the weight painting was not perfect either, as like, these buttons, there was like a good 2,000 to 4,000 buttons when I first got it, so I had to get rid of them. Piping, get rid of them. There was like so much like complicated like vertices and such, and as you can see here, it isn't perfect either, which is like, so yeah. So it's like, it's not the perfect thing. Like if I was to have this done all over again, I would probably have like reached out to Kofu or any sort of like 3D artist and just sort of being like, hey, here's a high def mesh of my zebra in the outfit. The zebra is already relatively low and there's weight painting to it, but there isn't any weight painting to the clothing. Can you please retopo and do the I probably should have done that, but I didn't because I was a cheap fucking bastard. And I have not 100% a clue whether or not... Hang on a second. So outfit default... Hang on, so... Ding... Jacket on... Send signal. No. Yeah, so yeah, this is what it looks like, and the more I'm staring at it, the less I... Stop it! Stop it! Stop looking at my cake! Stop looking at the things that could be completely wrong, and... The suit is covering up the cake. Of course it is! It's a suit! It looks really nice when it's like this, when it's like low pixels and such like that. Maybe that's something I should have done. So then that way there was none of the glitches and what have you. And as you obviously have seen, like if I do like some really big movements, the color doesn't like properly like follow the body and what have you. So yeah. So there's all sorts of problems, and I am just like way too like I'm just inept, and I once again have that sort of weird sort of take of if I'm not going to use like a 3D thingy-madiggy in the next like month or something like that, then I can't use it, or I have to use it. Like it has to be one of those two things, and I didn't want to give up on this. All of you are just making fun of me. None of you are appreciating this. You're just like Himbo cam. Camera. I am pouring my heart out. And everyone's just sort of like, Alrighty, let's get the... Why is there an update for the Xbox
I
app?
refuse to elaborate because I don't know what I just said.
Too bad for you. Your elaboration is now lost. Alrighty. Do I really need this? No, I do not. I will shrink this down to here. Alright, the Xbox app should have updated. Thank you for the 69 bits, Yoshi. Hence, I think the suit looks nice, hence why I wanted to zoom in. Sure you did. Sure you did. Alright, hang on a sec. Review. Keep... No. Use the GrantZeebs one. There we go. And then there's this. Put that
Furry
to
Cures
there.
1221 paid me
Are you
to
doing the
say go
Yakuza
suck a
Mile,
lemon.
all the Yakuza games? Yes. I've already done Yakuza Like a Dragon, like, years ago. You probably didn't see me do that one. So we're not dealing with that one. I wanted to go into Infinite Wealth, but I had no money. I was going paycheck to paycheck for a while. And it wasn't available on the Game Pass. So once I was done with Yakuza 0, we are now on to Yakuza Kiwami. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Yakuza Kiwami. Because otherwise then there's going to be some problems if I'm not. Dink. So yeah, so I'm going through I'm not going to do like side things like a Dragon Ishin, which is based in like feudal Japan, or the Watsumahuzi game from... Hang on a second, I need to stop the music. There we go. There's just so much that's just... I don't need all this. And this is what's likely gonna... Yeah. I have no clue what this... Also, is it like... There we go. I was wondering why it like looked like it did. Spoiling us on the entire... Why does it do this? Why does it give us the intro video and spoil it for us? Those games are death worth checking out. So hype. Probably not on stream though. Let's see. Yep, we're gonna go for slot 1. So yeah. Amazingly enough, I feel like I can go through this like game rather quickly. We're already at to chapter 4, and I've even done like a little bit of like just running around along the sides and what have you. Oh yeah, and I also fixed the himbo, the peck dance, because before the actual values of the pecs were like too low down, so I fixed it for when it's like, you know, at the proper level and what have you. So thank you. I can't remember that guy's mission. Not gonna bother. Alright, so I need to head to Bacchus, which is here. Too bad. Also, hi there, YY. So yeah. I
Hello.
intended... So yeah, my better intention, I need to figure out how to do this sort of pipeline, but... Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, bad time to pause, but I still want to say this. So then hopefully, like, someone in this chat is aware of this. I am very much in the mood for Yakuza Yes, again. Yes, again. We have so much to go through. There's already Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Amazingly enough, I have not been spoiled on Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I have been spoiled on fucking Suicide Squad on TikTok. Don't know why. For some reason. Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Oh, that one? Like, everyone's, like, not mentioning shit about it on TikTok. I only get, like, once in a while, the advertisement from the fact that, like, oh, they spent however much money. Here's a very popular person that's, like, in Hawaii, like, being like, oh, hey, you should check out Yakuza. That's it. That's all I've been getting. Meanwhile, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. A game that apparently not a lot of people wanted to fucking play or talk about and shit. Guess what TikTok decides to do? Oh, hey, Grant, check out this meme with Captain Boomerang. Oh, don't worry about the thing he's actually looking at or something like that. Oh, hey, everyone's having their take about Batman in the Kill the Justice League game. Oh, hey, everyone has a take about Superman. And it's like, they're showing me and I'm like, what do you mean? Why? So that's why I went and played, like, you know, Suicide Squad back on Monday when I didn't have to work. But yes, we are back on Yakuza tonight. We're going to probably do Suicide Squad Friday, so then that way I can get that out of the way, because I think I'm really, really close to the end of it, and then it will take me to like end game content or something like that. Whereas with Yakuza here, this is chapter 4 right now. We should be getting close to. We should hopefully be able to get through this relatively quickly and what have you. And I don't like how we're opening up with, you know, this. Oh Lord. Everyone is dead. Oh, it's the kid. What the fuck is the kid doing here? Also, am I meant to be... What happened? Actually, I'm not gonna read these out loud.
何しにここに？
お母さん探して、私いろんなとこで聞いて。
お前、名前は？とにかくここを出るぞ。
No, she's not the Yakuza. Don't be ridiculous, make us DJ. Hi there, Het. Can't be here long. Gotta go to the pawn shop, see if they have any stuff I can use.
あれだけのことがあったんだ。とっくに誰かが通報しているだろう。
そっか。
それにしても、公衆電話が減ったような気がするな。昔はそこら中にあったはずだが。
だってみんな携帯持ってるじゃない。充電切れちゃった時くらいしか使わないよ。あ
あ。そうなのか。
Can you like not stand in the middle of the road, little girl? Like, can we get moving, please?
携帯持ってない
Also,
の
it's good to see that my like
バカ言う
outfit
な。
actually comes back on when I'm,
持ってるに決まっているだろう。
だよね。安心した。
Can we? Oh, Jesus! I had to like walk just that much further. Serious? Puppy! Oi! It's fucking dead. Should tattoo the pet. We're not tattooing me.
やめてよ。
Besides, it's fur. Like, you can't tattoo fur. Throw it back at his head. Absolutely welt. Yes!
何あんた。
俺は今日大変な一日でな。すこぶる機嫌が悪いんだ。
え？
Time to get me.
運が悪かったんだよ。お前らは。
そう？
Okay, I feel like there's more, like there was a guy that like replicated. Oh, it's doing the fucking. It's doing the micro stutters again. I've not yet found a solution for this. Sega, why? There we go. Yay, catch. Kiryu's about to remove a whole college batch off the face of the register. Go. And we fucked him up because they decided to throw rocks at a dog. Do not throw rocks at dogs.
なんなんだよ。あのさ。
The 2005 biochem class gone.
この子
All
お
of them
腹
gone
空かせ
because
て
of the
るみたい
dog.
なの。こんなに痩せちゃってるし。
お前、母親はどこにいるんだ？
え？
探してるんだろ？
わからない。今日ずっと探してたんだけど。
家は？
I wonder if this just
お
feels
前
like a chore for me.
家がないのか。
孤児院黙って出てきた。
But yeah,
お前
got paid back on
孤児院
Tuesday,
にい
which
たの
was
か。
really nice.
じゃあお前
お前じゃない。
I've realized when I'm like looking
私
through
は
my
はるか。
finances and
お
shit.
前じゃない。
Haruka,
おじさんは
kid. Okay, so that kid's Haruka. Also, what the fuck is
Kiryu.
flying behind me?
桐生一馬だ。
ね
Any
え
whoosies.
お願い。この子に何か食べさせてあげて。このままじゃ死んじゃうかも。
Sure, let's give him
かわいそうかもしれないけど、今助けてやってもまたこんな目に遭うかもしれない。仕方ねえことだ。
そんな、でもほっとけないよ。おじさん。
Seriously, kid? There's already an autosave to like. Plus, I can use the phone to save it. Ooh, shiny. Tahe Boulevard coin locker key C2. No idea where that is. Where was I in my train? Oh yeah. Wait. What was she gonna say?
おじさん。
Need fruit, or as you could die, give something to the dog. I don't have anything to hand over. Ah! Can I get anything here? No. Can't get anything there. Okay, I can get beef bowls. Wait, can I purchase beef bowls and have them as takeaway?
いらっしゃいませ。
Nope, that's not how they
う
work.
まい。
Feed the dog. I'm trying to! I need a...
ありがとうございました。
Where the fuck am I supposed to go for the... Hang on. Alright, so... Convenience store open 24/7 and the drugstore... Alright, so... Maybe the convenience store will have something? Good. Do not talk to you. Here we are. Alright.
いらっしゃいませ。
Oh, I felt that. Here it is, dog food. Alright, we got some dog food and might as well get some sushi while we're at it. Get some milk and a steamed paste bun.
ありがとうございます。
You scrolled past it. What did I scroll? This place? No. Alright, now I need to find where the girl is. I think she's this way.
Oh.
This way? Yep, there she is.
おじさん。
What should I hand over? The dog food.
ありがとう。
We've handed over dog food. Good for us.
あれどうしたの
食べなく。
ふーん。
Emotional damage.
Oh, please don't tell me the dog's gonna
もしかして。
die.
どうしよ
Oh my god, I needed a... Alright, hang on. So, is there a convenience store? So that's Beam, the adult TVs. So, convenience chain there.
Go
but-
suck a lemon.
You go suck a lemon! 750 yen is about $7 for people confused by the huge price. I was not too confused. I just kinda not cared. This is video game money, not real money. So... Me, like, back on Monday, I did not have $7 to throw to anything. Alright. Milk, sushi, dog, boss. Mineral water.
Becky. Lem smash.
Vitamin water. Malt and pocket tube. Okay. Maybe the mineral water?
ありがとうございました。
But yeah, so back on Monday I had like no money. Like none. And I got paid on Tuesday, which was really great, but this meant that I now had like basically in this year, 3 pays in a row at this point. 3 paychecks in a row this year. I had actually like just lived from paycheck to paycheck. Like I paid my bills, and I got by from like one fortnight to the next, but there was nothing saved over. And every time I was like looking at my finances, I was like, oh my god, there must be something that's like, you know, sus that I could cut out, or something that's like, you know, somehow happening like bi-weekly or something like that by accident. It's like there is no sus payment. There is no accident. It's just me. It's just me being dumb with my money, which is really fucking annoying. And I could see that the two things that I did throw money to in January and almost did in February was, like, you know, fast food deliveries, which has used so much of my money, and furry art commissions. Because furry art is, like, surprisingly expensive when you're strapped for cash. I don't have, like, $60+ to throw to art. Yay, we threw over the water. I guess I can't drink out of this. We'll need some kind of plate to put it in. Is it gonna be like the gold plate I had in my fucking thing?
Yes.
Cool, he's drinking. That must have whet his appetite. Nice. But yeah, so I'm trying to go through this month, trying to minimize. We had a public holiday in the middle of the week, so I got paid early by Centrelink this week. The thing keeping my grocery costs down currently is that I've dropped carbs. Nice. I'm trying to not get any... I want to try and do it for at least a week, where I do not do any Uber Eats or DoorDash or anything like that. If I can try and do that. I was going to say no, like, fast food or anything like that, but I bought a burrito on Tuesday during my like work from home day when I went to the grocery store, and then on my way out I stopped into like a burrito place, got myself a burrito, and kept going. And it was just a case of like, fuck, I just spent $20 on burrito when I could have easily have purchased like more ready cook meals. So I have another 5 ready-cook meals. Make your own fast food. It's cheaper and more fun. No, Benru, you don't understand. Benru, there has been so many times people have told me, oh, it's cheaper making your own. I know it's cheaper, but I am lazy, and I hate myself when I get home that I don't want to do anything besides what it is right now. I do not have the motivation to cook. I do not have the motivation to boil water. It's astounding that I am somehow self-sustainable, despite the fact I don't even cook my own pasta anymore. It's just... Moving on. I'm getting upset. I'm getting upset over the fact that I am not a human. He's able to just sustain himself by just, you know, making his own food rather than getting tempted by fucking food delivery. Because like a $15 pizza seems more appealing to me than spending $8 or less on pasta.
お母さんとユミお姉ちゃんだけだから。
ユミ？
うん。お母さんのお姉ちゃん。
Wait,
いつも手紙持ってきてくれた。
I thought Yumi would have been your mom. Oh, Jesus, what the fuck?
どうした？
疲れた。
Serious?
Data.
How are things going on your end? Were you able to make it to Serena? Actually, things got a little complicated. Ended up back at Bacchus, but it was a dead end. Any leads there have been erased.
というわ
何 Oh, he just explained.
じゃあバカスのマスターも
け。そう
そうか桐生
For
と
now
りあえず
then,
その女の
get
子
the
はセレ
girl
ナ
to
に連れて
Serena.
け後で警察が追う
Police can take custody of her
そう
later. That's true.
わかった。
Good plan. Wait, what public holiday went off last week? I don't remember a public holiday last week. Thank you, Little War. I can be rest assured that nothing I say ever sways you from your first thing you do in my stream. Butt and hope. Are these guys serious? Is it fair to hog the whole road? Alrighty, street thugs, time to get fucked over. Oh, New Zealand, okay. Same welfare surface. Watangi Day? Is that how it's called? Serena!
レーナ、
Reina,
この子。
the girl.
伊達さんっていう刑事さんから電話で聞いたわ。熱があるみたい
Sounds
ね。
like she has a fever.
奥の部屋に行っててくれ
Take
る
it to the back room.
今
I'll
薬
get some.
ああ、頼む。
Yep. Thank you. Moving on. Moving on. Getting down to business.
さてと
Alright.
薬も飲ませ
Took
た
some
し
medicine. Oh,
あ
she
とは
needs
寝ていれ
now
ば
get
大
some
丈夫よ。
rest.
きっと一時
I
的
think
な
the
ショッ
shock
ク
and
と疲労
fatigue
が原
finally
因。
caught up with her.
ああ、
Yeah.
様子を見よう。
Give her some time. It's like your country's founding day. Oh, neat.
ショック
Okay.
だったろうね。そんな怖い思いして。
So,
ああ、何か食うもんでも
I
作ってや
wonder,
って
would
く
it
れね
be
え
like
か。
Australia? Because like some people don't
Oji-san.
like Australia
Ara.
being seen as like a country founding day
ここは？
anymore.
私
But
の
Australians were the fucking
よろしくね。
idiots for deciding to make their federalization day
俺の友達で
January 1st,
レーナ
which was already taken up by
あの恋の
that was already taken up by New Year's Day. Fun fact, for any of you that do not live in Australia or New Zealand, Australia Day is on January 26th. That was the day that Captain Cook was just sort of like, "Oh, hey, there's an island there," and goes onto it, tries to do some nonsense, and leaves. It's very much like the American equivalent of Australia Day is Christopher Columbus Day. It's this very obvious case of, look, we get it, you saw it, but there were kind of people here already. So there's a number of Australians that don't really support Australia Day to continue being on the 26th of January because it's seen more like an invasion day. And meanwhile, meanwhile, when it came to, you know, the actual federalization of the country, so rather than it being a silly sort of a day thingy with a silly sort of place that the British had and what have you, and instead like a country of its own, Australia, the government was really fucking lazy and were just sort of like, hey, why don't we just have it happen on January 1st when it gets to 1770 something? And they're sort of like, oh, yes, excellent job. Yes, January 1st. No one's going to forget that date. Of course they're not going to forget that date. That's New Year's Day. So when you are like, oh, when people are like proposing of like, we shouldn't be celebrating Australia Day on the 26th anymore, unless we're going to call it Invasion Day. And everyone's like, all right, when should we celebrate Australia Day? Guess what? You can't pick January 1st. That is New Year's Day, and no one wants to give up on a public holiday. You done goofed, Australians. You fucked up by being lazy and deciding to have your federalization go off, like, conveniently, like a fucking lawyer. Instead of being like America, where it's just sort of like, it's July 4th. We are signing this agreement. We are a nation on its own, by the people, for the people, under God. And we are going to sign here. Meanwhile, not everyone signed there on that day, and it took like fucking months before they did. But you know what? You know what? You know what it means? It means that July 4th of July is the foundation of the American thingamadoo, which is a lot more fun. So if there was a case of like, oh, if we celebrated Christopher Columbus with like as the Independence Day, and people were like, we don't really support that because Christopher Columbus was a bit of a dick even at the standards back in his day, and they're like, okay, well, what day do you propose? They would then have just gone July 4th because we signed off on it today. Didn't like barely anyone sign on that day? True, but we had some people sign it, and it's gonna be that day. Some want it to be on May 8th, as in mate. Look, sounds great, but no one's gonna go for that because Australian like government and like different groups are just gonna come up with their own date, and May 8th is just sort of randomly fucking there. And sure, but then there comes the other issue of Australians are just politically lazy.
Eh?
They are not interested in political progression and if they were, federalization would not have waited 3 fucking months. Doggy!
よかった。もう会えないかと思った。
ついてきてたのか。
この子も嬉しそう。
はるかさっきユミお姉ちゃんって言ってたな。個人に手紙を届けに来てくれたって。
すごく優しいんだよ、ユミお姉ちゃん。毎月ひまわりに来てくれて、お母さんからの手紙とかお土産とか。
お前、ひまわりにいたのか。そして母親の姉はユミ。
どうかしたの？
お前のお母さん、名前はなんて言うんだ？
みずき。え？知ってるの？お母さんのこと。ねえ、お母さんどこなの？
いや、俺も探してるところだ。ユミのことも。はるか、ユミの居場所は？そうか。
ねえ、おじさん、私も一緒にいい？
さっきのところでお前の母親の店を聞こうとしてたんだ。今は手がかりが何もない。
私知ってるよ。アレスでしょ。
本当に？はるかちゃん。
だから一緒に。私だけじゃどうしてもお母さんに会えないから。ねえ、おじさん、いいでしょ。
他にどうしようもねえな。
Oh, dog. Aww. Alright.
おじさん、すぐにアレスに行く？
Let's go! We're not gonna fuck around.
じゃあ行こう。
Say no. New Zealand's Independence Day is actually the 24th of October, when a delegate of Northern Indigenous declared independence from Australia. February 6th, Waitangi Day, was just when the Crown was like, oh, new country to... So, Invasion Day is what it sounds like. Or at least the New Zealand equivalency of Invasion Day, where some fucking white dude in a tricorn cap was just sort of like, hey look, land! And we just need to get rid of these guys. Crazy. Abilities. 4 points I can put into one of these things. Boost your defense, boost your attack. I'm gonna boost that. And that way when we get to 3 points, we boost to that. And then we go for these things afterwards. 250. Spry reduces the damage you take when thrown by an enemy, only activates when you are calm. Nice. Nice. Oh, kid, wait up.
おじさんはミレニアムタワーに行ったことあるの？
Nope, never been.
俺もつい最近知ったんだ。まさかあの場所に
Crazy to think they
あんな
built
でかい
that
ビ
there
ル
of
が
all
あった。
places. Oh my god, another key. I need to find out where this boulevard is. Oh wait, kid, wait up. Wait up.
おじさん、こっちだよ。 おじさんは
Do
な
I
ん
want
で
to
お母
keep
さ
on
んを
wearing
探
this
してる
outfit?
の
I'm
話すと
getting
長くなる
miffed by
から
it. Like,
俺は
I love,
弓を
like,
探している
unnamed. If you're watching this right now, I do love the work that you did to it and such like that. But holy shit, am I terrible at
何か知ってるんじゃないか
decimation
と
and
思って
making
な
this shit.
そうなんだ
I need to get better with it, and I wasn't really gonna do a good job
どこ行っ
with
ちゃっ
like
たんだ
a
ろう
high
お前
detailed
は
thing like
どうしてお母さんを探しに来たんだ
どうしてって自分のお母さんだよ理由がなくちゃ探しちゃダメな
She's
の
my mom. Do I need a reason?
野暮なことを聞いたすまん
ちょっとあなた
What
た
is the
ち
nature of this relationship?
え
Huh?
どういうって
で
Oh, you
あなた
are
こ
you
の
the
子の
father
お
of this
父さんか
child?
なんか
That's right.
ああそうだ
ああ本当にじゃあ身分証明できるもんある
Why would I?
いやない
身分証明書もないの
ダメだよおじさん私
まその辺
We need to run.
なんで逃げ
はいそこ
あ
おまわりさん
あなんだい
これ以上お父さんのこといじめないでお父さん
My
見た
dad
目の
might
割
look
に気が
scary, but
小
he's
さいの
really shy, and I can
だからさっ
tell
きから動転しちゃ
you're
ってて
making him very nervous.
父に代わっ
I
てお詫びし
apologize
ま
to
す
my dad, so
だ
please
から
stop bullying
もういじめ
him.
ないでください
You could always put on your usual streamer outfit. Yeah, I'm thinking of that. If I I need to figure out like how to do this pipeline, but I want to have it where if I do anything in Blender on the model and shit, I can then, you know, export it as an FBX. That's the obvious case. Once it's in an FBX on Unity, I do some of the extra like VTuber shit, and then it gets exported as a VCF avatar. The reason I want it done that method is so then that way I don't need to like go into a VRM and then back out, or you know, have the FBX get exported, turned into a VRM, and then turned into a into the VCF avatar as well. The other thing is, I want to be able to add new costumes to my zebra without having to import the zebra all over again. Like, I want to be able to, like, export, like, like, I couldn't export only the Yakuza outfit and put it within the VRM model of my zebra. I had to export the FBX of my zebra with the outfit, put it into Unity. Once it was in Unity, export it as a VRM. The VRM went back into Unity, and then, you know, I had a zebra with the outfit, but I didn't have the zebra with the what's-a-mahoozy, with the with the default stuff. So it has the maid outfit and it has the Yakuza outfit. It does not have the default outfit. And it doesn't have any of the other outfits because that would have been like an absolute waste and shit like that to try and do. So yeah, I want to be able to just have it where it's like, oh, here's the Zebra VRM sitting in Unity. And then it's like, oh, you have a new outfit you want to add to the VRM? Oh, just, you know, drop the clothing with all the weight paints. Don't worry about including the armature and shit. But I don't know if that will work. Sir, you have a very smart daughter. And you really need to get your act together.
もういいですか
ああいいよ
There we go.
行こう
She's very brave.
ユミはお前に手紙を届けに来てくれたんだろう
お母さんからの手紙毎月ひまわりに
最近ユミに変わった様子はなかったか
変わった様子あ、そうだ
何があった
ユミお姉ちゃん最近シャンプーを変えたかも髪の毛すごくいい匂いしてたのよ
Okay.
そっか
And that's Millennium Tower.
ここだよおじさん
Oh, hang on, kid, wait for me.
すごい立派なビル。
この中に店を構えるなんて簡単にできることじゃない。
きっとお母さん頑張ったんだよ。
そうだな。
私こんなに高い建物登ったことないよ。上からはどんな景色が見えるのかな。
カムロ町どころか東京中が一望できるだろうな。
すごいなお母さん。
I didn't mean to bump into you, kid.
さっき警官に呼び止められた時、よくとっさにあんな嘘を思いついたな。
私とおじさんが親子だってこと？知らない人から見たら別におかしくないでしょ？
大した名演技だったぜ。将来は女優になれるかもしれないな。
さすがにそれ。
That is not a staircase. That is an escalator. You can just stand on it, and it should just like go. Why am I walking down this thing?
俺もいつの間にか
I never
そん
figured
な
I'd be
年
old
にな
enough
っ
to
ちまっ
pass
て
as
た
a
のか。
dad.
子分
Kiryu,
なら
aren't
ま
you
だ
like
しも
30
小
right
学生
now?
の子供か。想像もつかねえな。
古文の方が想像つかないよ。
You can't imagine people. It's an abandoned. Wait, the mall is abandoned. I thought it was lively because of the fact that, like, it's open.
ちょっといい？
何してるんだ。
おじさん60回押して。
あ
36, 38. Nice. How does that work?
驚いたな。暗証番号か。
お母さんがね、手紙で教えてくれたの。お店の自慢の一つだって。
She's really proud of her bar. Nice. It's extra secure. Maybe don't stand so close to the door. Let me stand like sort of in front. Just a little. Shit might go down. A lot of people are not interested in Kiryu's side of the story. They're more of a shoot first and shoot later kind of crowd, I find. Does Mizuki really own all this? Oop.
あ、いた。おじさん、こっちだよ。
Huh? Reina's right. She does kind of look like Yumi in a way. There's the flower tattoo on her chest as well. Yumi was always so casual, but she seems pretty sophisticated. Reina said Yumi probably doesn't even know she was a sister, but could those two really be related? Guess I'll have to find her and ask for myself. Okay.
はるか、お前なんで孤児院に？
わかんないよ、そんなの。
お前がひまわりにいたのも母親は知ってるんだろう。なら
どうしても迎えに来ることができないって。手紙で何回も訳聞いたんだけど、それしか。
ユミもそう言っていたのか。
うん。ただ最後にお姉ちゃんが来た時、お母さんからってこれをくれたの。
Oh, hey, a locket.
でもその時思った。私本当にもうお母さんと会えなくなるかもしれないって。
Should other people know the code so soon?
あんた、桐生さんでっか。元堂島組の。お初にお目にかかります。わし、五代目近江連合本部の林今ね。噂はよう聞いてますぜ。
I've never heard of you before.
近江連合ってことは錦山に頼まれたのか。俺を狙ってるんだろう。
いや。電話鳴ってますぜ。どうぞ金銭と取っとくんなれや。
桐生だ。
伊達だ。桐生、100億の星が分かったぞ。ユミだ。お前が追ってるユミが星だ。
なんだって。
How are you sure?
現場に指輪が落ちてたらしい。
指輪？
ああ。10年前、お前から預かったあの指輪だ。とにかく、登場会は彼女とその共犯の女を追ってるそうだ。
共犯？
そうだ。明日、セレナで話したい。大丈夫か？
あ
あ。Alrighty。
そうか。お前らも弓と水木を。
いや、わしらが追っとんのは、そこのお嬢さんですわ。
なんでこいつを？
それは言えまへんな。
I'm not letting you take a kid.
桐生さん、おとなしゅうその子を渡したってな。
渡すと思うか？
ほなぶっちゃけ言いますわ。我ほどの男、こんなところで殺しとうないんすわ。
あんた、ずいぶん気が早えな。
はあ？
俺はこんなところで殺されるほどやわじゃねえよ。
さすがキルさんでんな。ほなしゃあないな。おい、やれや、ぶち殺したれや。遠慮なく言ったれや。
Oh, that means I used up all my... Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up! God damn you. Alright, fuck it. I'm gonna drink something that will keep me up. There we go. I wanted this victory, and I wanted it via the way that they wanted me to get it. Oh, it wasn't that way. I thought that would get the win for me. There we go. This should be it. Bam! I am very much in the who the fuck is this kid as well, Benru. I'm gonna be real with you right now. Why are they after her? Is it because of her, you know, connection to Yami, her aunt? Yeah, don't ask me questions like those. I don't know the answers to.
心臓移植？ええ。延命のための手術はもう限界です。妹さんを助けるにはもうそれしか。
Oh shit.
いくらかかるんです？いや、いくらかかってもいい。それで優子が助かるならやってくれ、日吉先生。お金の件は分かりました。ただそのためには 適合するドナーが現れるのを待たなければなりません。それに運よく見つかったとしても順番待ちがあります。移植を受けられるまで一体何年待つことになるか。
何年もって、それじゃ妹には間に合わねえ。何か手はねえのか、日吉先生。本当に手はねえのかよ。なんとかしてくれよ。何でもするからさ。
Oh, that's not the look.
本当に何でもする覚悟ですか。
Don't you dare. You fuckers.
妹が助かるなら、そりゃなんだって。
臓器ブローカーの存在をご存知ですか？
え？
Oh, okay.
聞いたことはあるけど、まさか。
私からそういう仕事をしている人間に連絡を取ることはできます。ただその場合、手術費用とは別にまとまったお金が必要です。
いくらだ
？3000万。用意できますか？
He is the fucking patriarch. Like, he could be the patriarch of Kazuma, so, you know, it's not the most foolish thing, but the heavy hitters are not interested in giving him money.
組長さん。松重。
What's he gonna do? Okay, no. You're meant to be above him.
金を稼がせてくれ。3000万。どうしても必要なんだ。
No.
やり方はお前に任せる。だから頼む。力を貸してくれ。松重。
You're in a leadership position. You don't get, and you're in the leadership position in a very cutthroat, morally ambiguous organization. You don't get to have, like, the vulnerability play here. Because they don't respect you at, like, the last time we saw you. I doubt they respect you before just then. If they're seeing this, they're probably seeing this as an opportunity to exploit you themselves or get you out of the way of their progression. This is not your sworn brother or anything like that. This is your underling, and you have just shown your belly.
やり方は俺に任せる。あんた、そう言ったな。は
あ。
初めからそうやって頭下げりゃよかったんだ。ねえ。ほんじゃ、これからは仲良くやりましょうや。
No.
組長さん。
Idiot. Purgatory. Yeah, that sounds about right.
じゃあユミの妹ってのはアレスの水木で、おそらくは100億の共犯。
そしてハルカはその娘だ。
行方不明だったユミはあの子にだけは会っていた。
ごめんなさいキリュウちゃん、ちょっとお願い。あ、丁寧にね。
I can be polite. Observe.
セレナです。
This is Serena.
兄貴ですか？
シンジか。
やっぱり。
What if we held hands
連絡取りたく
as
て
a treat?
方々を回ってたんです。
そうか。今どんな状況だ？
実は今風間のおやっさん連れて逃げてます。
何？
あの後病院で手当てしたんですが意識はまだ。でも兄貴、あの状況から見ておやっさんを撃ったのは登場界のもんです。おやっさんの居所が知れたらまた狙われるかもしれません。
今どこだ？
信頼できる筋に隠れ家頼んでるとこです。落ち着いたらまた連絡します。連絡先はセレナで。
いや、携帯を持ってる。
Cool. Alright.
風間さん生きてたんだね。
Kazuma-san is alive, which is great to hear.
キリュウ、何かあった？
いや、
No
まだ
clue
思
at
い当
all.
たらない。
I need to get out of here and see what I can find.
効率的じゃねえ
It's
な。
not gonna get you
仕
anywhere.
方ねえ。
Personally, I think we need to find an information broker.
ひょっとして
You mean
伝
this
説の情報屋の話
legendary
か。
informant I'm hearing about?
そうだ。
Exactly. You
サイ
know
の
him?
花屋。
The florist of
この
Sai.
町のことは何でも知って
Family's
る。
got
だ
intel on the
が
entire
そいつがい
town.
るのは例の公
Problem
園の
is, he
中だ。
keeps to himself in that sketchy park.
西公園か。
West Park, right?
ああ、
Right.
通称サイ
Otherwise
の
known
川
as
だ。
Purgatory.
ホームレス
The
が住み
local
着いた公園
homeless
だ。
all but own the place.
奴は
And this
そのサイ
informant
の河原の
operates
中
from
にいる。
somewhere
だから気をつけろ
inside.
よ。
You'll need to
あ
watch
そこ
your
は警
step.
察も不介
That
入の
part's
危険地
so
帯だ。
dangerous, even the cops steer
一度中に
clear.
入ると出
Getting
て
in
こ
is
られないかもしれない
dangerous. Getting back out's questionable.
だが
But I have to
行
go.
くしかないな。
There's no time to lose now.
だってさ、
Date-san.
はるかのこと
Can I ask you to look after Haruka?
ああ、ここ
Yeah.
も安全とは言え
Although
ない
it's
か
not
ら
exactly safe here
こっちで
either.
保護しよう。
I'll protect her though.
早く帰ってきてね。
Where's the dog? Oh, the dog's not here. Okay. Alrighty. Nice work on the 51% Q, by the way. Meow. Meow. What? Oh, god damn you.
なあ、
最高のどつき合いにしようや。
そう来ると思ったよ。
Go. Yeah, let's go! Backslap it! Yeah! Get fucked. I'm the Dragon of Dojima! Man, you're starting to pack a punch, Kiryu-chan! You never cease to amaze! You're looking pretty relaxed for having lost. Damn straight! I have so much fun fighting you. I can't, but really can't help but feel real good about it. The more we fight, the more pumped up I get. I could fight you forever. You sure about that? But it looks like I lost this time. We can pick up where we left off later. See you around, Kiryu-chan. I can't avoid fighting with Majima. I need to be prepared at all times so I can face him whenever and wherever. Serious? Hey, I learned the new... And I can now upgrade other abilities. Let's see, so that costs 3, which is... First time you grab an enemy in combat while in a calm state, the heat gauge will increase dramatically. Will rise when you skillfully evade while in a calm state. Will rise when you evade an attack just before it lands. Embody the iron will of a prize fighter. The power of your attacks is boosted when you are wounded. Increases the critical max gauge. Allows for heat actions that require you to be in critical max mode. An improved counterattack unleashed after charging it up, which adds a knockdown effect. Oh, I do not have enough XP for that. Grab that. That one. Damn it, I don't have the XP for that. Alright. Alrighty. I've got to now head to the homeless district, Purgatory Park. Men to be continued. Hey, hi there, Aerith, there, a rather villainous penguin. Hi, I got the suit. Yes, a friend of mine made this suit for me. It's really high detailed. Unfortunately, I am very bad at weight painting and reducing the number of vertices and what have you. I probably should have gone to a professional artist who could do all these things, but I didn't because I am a cheapskate. And I wanted to learn for myself, but I was a very messy cheapskate. What's this guy on about? Got seats open at a real nice bar nearby. Care for a drink? No thanks. Oh, but they serve incredible drinks at great prices. I said I wasn't interested. Oh, please try it. If I don't bring in any customers, they'll take it out on me. Come on. Think of it as helping a brother out. If you don't like the consequences of failing your job, find one you don't fail at. What? That's cold, man. Cold as ice. You know what would harm you right up, though? A good drink. I'm out of here. Please. Wait. Please. I mean it, see? Just one teensy drink, I swear. Thank you for the hyper himbo, Hendrix. It will be worth having. Fine. One drink. Really? But if it isn't an amazing drink, I'm walking. Thank you so much. I'll take you right there. Right this way. Welcome. What can I get you? Let's see.
Nani?
Huh? Are you fucking serious right now? I'm gone. What? Sit your ass down, Sekiryu. You can't just walk out the door without ordering something. Why would you be in a place like this? It's an old hobby of mine. Sometimes I just want to get behind a bar and serve some drinks to some fine customers. Really? I never would have thought. I don't look the part now, but they used to call me the Lord of the Night. I was the gold standard of customer service, so you best be glad I'm the one serving. Did they? Well, if you're really going to do it that much effort, I guess I'll have a drink. Alright, try this one first. This one's called the Goro 40 Years Old. Not a brand I've heard of. Oh, I ain't surprised. This one's a new face on the market. Only came out last year. It's got a real smoky texture, but it's still slightly sweet and goes down easy. It's a Majima favorite for beginners or when you need to drink and run. I see. This is actually going to be a good drink, isn't it? It does have a classy taste. Pretty good. Good drinking, huh? Want another? Yeah, sure. One more won't hurt. Next on the line is the Mazima. These brands are a little suspicious. No, it's a fine drink. A rich taste and an almost mysterious charm about it. Makes you want to have another before you finish the first glass. Booze with Mr. Goro. Look, I was forced into this, alright? It wasn't my option to be treated to the fucking free booze by Majima. That one really packs a punch. You sure can hold your liquor, Kiryu-chan. I have to admit, I'm surprised. Coming from you, I would have expected some kind of bizarre cocktail, but you actually have pretty good taste. Well, I tell ya, I'm a customer service professional. Well then, what'll it be? Thanks, but I better get going. What do I owe you? Of course. Sir, just a moment for some quick calculations. 5 for the go, 6 for the row. That'll be 560,000 yen. What the hell? Great value, eh? That's robbery. I only had 2 drinks. Why is it so expensive? How much is... Wait, 670,000 yen. How much is that in Australian? I want to... Like, hang on a second. So, 670,000 yen to AUD. $6,936. Oh, that's basically like buying the bottle at a fucking, like, bar or something like that over in Sydney or something like that, or 2 bottles. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm not paying $7 grand for a fucking drink. Well, this is some real legit best in class premium whiskey. Matter of fact, this one usually runs 5.6 million yen. 5,600,000? Yeah! We're buds, right, Kiryu? I gave you a 90% Majima discount. What are you blowing your lid about? So that's what this is all about. You were planning to scam me from the beginning. Huh? What? You wound me with these accusations, Kiryu-chan. All I'm asking is for you to pay for the alcohol that you drank. What part of that sounds like a scam? I don't know what kind of drinks you're usually into, but when I'm behind the bar, I only serve the good shit. If you want to call me out, you can show me some damn proof. He's right. I don't know these brands, so there's no way I could check what the rate on the bottle actually is. Quit stalling, Kiryu-chan. Are you gonna pay or not? If we ain't gonna pay, what, you'll call the cops? Oh, I would never make a criminal out of a customer, but I would have to rough you up a bit. Now I see your plan. You took a pretty roundabout way to get here this time. If I pay him, he'll let me go. If those were outrageous prices. If I don't, I'll have to fight him. What should I do? Do I want to pay 500,000 yen not to fight Majima, or do I want to beat Majima up? I think we are gonna go beat Majima up. Not pay. We're gonna beat this fucker up. Sorry, but I don't plan on paying. Oh, really? Well, I hope you realize what this means. Alright. Sweet! Let's take this out front. If the the universe had cell phones, can't he just look up how much the bottles are? Or is this pre-smartphone era Benru? This is like 2005. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Goddamn. There we go. Right in the jaw. Yes! Oh, that was beautiful. I used 20 different heat actions, and I got completion. Just what I'd expect from you, Kiryu-chan. You downed so much alcohol that you ought to be swaggering drunk, but all it did was make you stronger. You made me drink just to see what would happen. You're too crafty for your own good. Well, the plan worked, didn't it? In fact, I half figured all that cheap swill wouldn't have much effect on ya, Kiryu-chan. Cheap swill. Didn't you just tell me those 2 drinks would have cost 5.6 million yen? You fell for that? I was just serving you the cheap shit you can buy on street corners. What a sucker. Guzzling that gutter piss and acting all debonair about it. Throwing about words like classy about some bottom shelf hobo juice. I almost lost it a couple of times. At the very least, I was entertained. I'll let you off the hook for that, so see you later, Kiryu-chan. Lord of the Night, he says. He was just trying to scam me. I'm glad I didn't pay. Yeah! That's a lot of progress. I've learned charged finisher. Hi there, Valkyrie. You serve me cheap swill. Majima beatdown starts up again. Look, Kiryu wasn't gonna beat him up over cheap swill, but he was gonna beat him up for trying to extort him for cheap swill. So there was that. Alrighty. Oh my god, Kiryu. What's up, homeless man? Whoa. Why would a guy like you need to go in there? Folks at Purgatory don't take kindly to you, Yakuza. That's okay, I'm not Yakuza. Hey, you. Do you know where the entrance to this park is? Yeah. Sure, but first, can I bum a cig? Fine. Here. Go for it. That's good. So, do you know where the entrance is? Sort of. Go see a man about a horse. Why would a You mean the bathroom? I don't know. I just told you to go see a man about a horse. If you're too dumb to figure it out, I got nothing. The entrance to Purgatory? Try looking around or piss off. No one's gonna tell you shit. That's why I'm being nice. I'm just asking all the homeless men I see. Oi! Hey, you. Yeah, you, buddy. Cool. Hold up. What is it? This here is a toll road, buddy. You wanna get through here, you gotta pay. And you're the toll collector, huh? That's right. It usually costs 5,000 yen, but since it's Christmas, that means I gotta add a holiday tax. Today, it's gonna cost you 10,000 yen, but I do offer a no-cost option, if you're interested. Oh yeah? Tell me more. You just gotta defeat me. I figured as much. That's actually my recommendation. Since everyone forks over the cash, I'm a little out of shape. So, what'll it be? Pay the toll? Put up a fight? Or turn around like a wimp? Let's fight then. Let's fight then. So I can be on my way. Nice. Nice. It's been a while since someone with some balls came through here. Thank you for the boots, Masonic. Bring it on. I'm gonna enjoy this. Ooh, he's really tight. Alright. God damn it, Masonic, thank you for the 200 bits. That one didn't surprise me as much as I thought it would. There we go. If you wouldn't mind permitting my message to is there no moderators in the chat? God damn it. I'm in the middle of a fight right now though, just forewarning. There we go. Alrighty, hang on. You serve me. There we go. God damn it, Incineroar. You're a beast, buddy. Did you learn something today? Maybe it's time to stop taxing public roads like a toll. What was that? If you can't speak up, maybe you'd like to go another round. Consider it a Christmas present. No, I get it. I'll stop doing this. Please, forgive me. That's what I thought. Merry Christmas. I thought everyone in this town was all talk and no walk. You're the real deal, you know? I did learn something today. Turns out there are people in the world who are even stronger than me. Here, I figure I owe you this. Leech gloves. Looks like I better get back to training. When I'm confident I can defeat you, I'll come back to this town. Until then, farewell. You can come back whenever you want, but when you do, you better not be taking money from people. Got it? Yeah, I got it. I remember a guy who used to train with the money he got from shakedown in the streets. Time marches on, people change, but the schemes they dream up are always the same. How's it going, Incineroar? Yeah, I got like 8,000 experience, which means I can go for more. Not those. I can go for these. So that boosts my attack. That requires 10 to boost my health. Guard, attack. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. 3. Reduces the damage you take when thrown by an enemy only when you're calm. Yep, no, I'll take that one. Alrighty. Oh, also, what is the dragon shit I've relearned? A flying jump kick that will send your enemy flying on impact. Fight Majima in town a total of 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. Settle your score with Majima. So, while wielding a dagger, regain your dragon instinct on the third blow of a rush combo. You can charge your finishing blow to massively increase its damage. Reach rank F in Majima everywhere, then defeat Majima in town 3 times. Check the email from Majima subordinates. Reach rank E, D, C, B. Meet Komaki and complete his training. Reach rank A, S, double S, triple S. Alrighty. Homeless shelter. Here we go. What's up, homeless man? Are you going into the park? That's the plan. You shouldn't. It's called purgatory for a reason. Your soul gets sucked in there. What do you mean? That place is cursed. Once a man falls down, the rush of falling becomes more enticing than the struggle back up. And once you've felt the thrill of the underworld, the land of the living seems dull. So I'm warning you now, stay out. I have no intention of falling down. Just paying someone a visit. It's your funeral. Either way, take care. Sup?
なあ、
Hey,
あんた
didn't you see the sign?
張り紙あ
Out
っ
of
たの
order. Couldn't
使
you
用
read?
現金
I saw
ちゃん
it.
と見たじゃあ
Well,
何
then
され
you
ても
can't
文句
complain
ね
if
え
you
な
get hurt. Time to beat up some home. Oh.
うせろこっちはヤクザに用はねえ消えろって言ってんだ
公衆便所はみんなのもんだろ
Bathrooms for public use?
はいはいええそうですわかりましたどうしていいそうだ
Jesus Christ.
こっちだ
ご案内します桐生さん
Hello, who the fuck
も
are
う
you?
身元が追われたのか
サイの河原だぜここは
Yeah, the park seems about the same. Okay, that is a little bit different. I do not remember a train station.
ボスは地下の一番奥でお待ちしていますどうぞ
Okay. Oh, weapon shop.
いらっしゃい
Stuff is essential in this town, am I right? What do you need? Show me what you got. Hey, we got motors. Oh, I need to do this multiple times. Hang on a sec. Buy equipment. Here comes more micro stutterings, of course there is. Those are some nice clean clothes. Be careful not to get ripped off or mugged wearing a rob me sign like that. The way you're dressed, your build, your eyes. You must be an experienced fighter. What the heck? Aren't you a little old to be picking fights? Rubbish. I'm not so vulgar as to act like a hawkish peddler. And even if we fought now, I would easily win against you. And I'm not so dumb that I get provoked by lame insults. But if you think I wouldn't fight just because you're an old man, you're sorely mistaken. Heh. So you're just another punk after all. What a waste. A waste? Indeed. Your aura is vibrant, not entirely unlike a dragon. And if that dragon were to completely reawaken, I would not come out of a battle with you unscathed. But right now, the dragon scales are fading and failing. Why wouldn't I call such undeveloped potential a waste? I have no idea what you're saying. It's not like I have time to chat, sorry, but go play Mahjong if you're lonely. Sunset Soleil, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. I apologize if I offended you, but I am uncertain of your present abilities. I will wait and watch you for a while. I know you do not have time to chat, so be gone with you. Damn. What's with this old man? Another homeless person. I know this place looks bad from the outside, but I like it here. It's home. Besides, where else would I go? This is the best Yakuza game? I'ma be real with you. Like, before I decided to do this, like, whole, you know, playing the Yakuza games, like, back-to-back kind of thing, I played Yakuza Like a Dragon. Also, ignore the fact that, like, my face can clip through this, outfit. It's poorly put together and what have you. I've gone through Yakuza Like a Dragon, like, years ago when it first came out. I went through Yakuza 0 about, like, last week, the week before. It took me a while to get through Yakuza 0, I'll be real with you. And now we're on to Yakuza 1, or Yakuza Kiwami. I liked Yakuza Like a Dragon more. Your Avi's the same as well. Alright, item box. Put you away. This Italian scarf is a popular gift item. Cool. Alright. Time to go underground.
Becky, limb smash.
No, why are you bonking me? That's the horny bonk. Why are you bonking me? Jesus Christ. What the fuck is this doing underneath a homeless place? Crazy. Hello? So, what do you think of our underground pleasure palace, Kiryu? You know who I am too. Yeah, in Purgatory, information is our product. Everything that happens up top filters right down to us below. Well, the boss is waiting for you. So, how are we playing today, my sweetheart? Who are you? I was just curious about this place. By Jove, man, can't you see I'm occupied? I was just about to enjoy a taste of this little delicacy. Now... Oh, hello. Is this your first time here? Yeah, it is. That's so cute. This place is a social club open only to VIPs. Are you a man of means, sir? I don't mean to presume, but you seem out of your element here. Indeed, this is hardly the place for one such as yourself. Now be a good sport and run along. Hello? Staying a while, big guy? I've got someone to meet. Aw, he'll wait. There's no rush here. I can help you understand that if you let me. Understand what exactly? Don't waste my time. Cool, moving on. So I now need to head to the end of the... I thought I was honestly gonna be, you know, having to go all the way, like, through, like, a fucking tunnel for the... Hello? Kiryu-san, right? We've been expecting you. Please, head to the mansion at the end of the bridge. What kind of place is this, anyway? This is Purgatory, the Garden of Lost Souls. The Florist of Sai is the master here, and he knows all. Some legendary informant, huh?
Kiryu Kazuma. 出所早々派手にやってるみてえだな。
あんたがサイの花や。
何の情報が欲しい？
登場界の100億、それにユミと水木って姉妹の情報だ。
報酬はい
くらかかるんだ？
情報を集めるのも金がかかるんだよ。どこにでも俺の手下はいる。 キャバ嬢のパンツの色から裏の取引、表沙汰になってない殺しまで全て俺のところに話が入ってくる。そして俺はその星の数ほどの情報をつなぎ合わせて客の欲しい正確な情報を提供するんだ。だから俺の情報は高い。
Oh god damn, there's a whole spy
今は
network.
無理だ。でも時間がない。
だろうな。
おいおい。
10年前堂島の竜っていや相当なもんだった。俺はヤクザってのが死ぬほど嫌いでな。だが情報屋ってのはとどのつまり覗き趣味でよ。あんたが天下の登場会敵に回して何しでかすか実のところ興味津々なんだ。
それじゃ
あだがただで情報やったんじゃ他に示しがつかねえ。俺はフェアじゃねえことは嫌いなんだ。
つまり
What's that supposed to mean?
仕事をしてもらおう。
I have a job for you.
堂島の竜にしかでき
Something
ね
only
え
the
仕事
dragon
な。
of Dojima can do. Anyway, you had a question, YY? Oh, it's just like the fucking underground
地下
back
闘
home.
技場か。
Majima's
そう
side.
だ。金の使い道を思いつかねえ金持ち。血見るのが好きな変態どもがお得意様よ。
Psychos are my
選手は
clientele.
殺しても殺されても問
Kill or
題
be
ねえ。
killed here.
ここ
That's
は
just fine.
サイの河原だ。
This is
三途の
purgatory.
川もすぐ近くってな。
Is there a streaming that you'll be streaming at once in Vishivanka? I have never heard of that before, so probably not. Nope, probably not.
俺にしかできねえ仕事っ
What's
て
this
の。
job you'll have me do?
3人勝ち抜けば
Beat
賞
three
金が出る。
fighters, the prize
そ
money
い
is
つを
yours.
手に入れられれば
If you can
そ
actually
いつを
do
情
it,
報料と
you
して
can
もらお
use
うじゃ
that
ね
money
え
to
か。
buy my intel. Alright.
Kiryu いいか桐生。
Listen, Kiryu.
これからこの先の
Behind
リング
those
で
doors
3
is the
人の
ring
男
where
と
you're
連
going
続
to
で
fight
戦
three
う。
men
ル
in
ー
a
ルは
row.
素手であること以
Other
外
than
には
our
特に
no
ない。
arms, no armor
好
policy,
きに暴れても
there
らっ
are
て結
no
構だ。
rules. Long as it's bare knuckle, anything goes.
高額な金の代償だ。
Since the
強い
prize
や
is
つとやっ
big
てもらう。
money, you'll be battling some
で、
real tough
3人に勝った
customers.
ら仕
Win
事をし
against
たと
all
認めて
three,
やろ
and
う。
your work here is done.
どうだ
You got all that? Yeah.
準備ができた
You
ら
think it's a perfect
声を
fit
か
for
けて
me?
くれ。
Nah, I got other games. I've got too much. Hang on.
準備できた
Am I
か。
ready? Yes.
おっと、
Are you carrying
武器
arms
か
or
防具
armor?
を
That's the
装
one
備し
thing
て
we can't allow. Take them off. Oh, okay. Okay, now let's try.
準備できたか。せいぜい観客を。
Give the audience something to remember.
Ladies and gentlemen, ここで飛び入りのファイターが
Had to Google it. It was some sort of shirt of Ukrainian origin. Once in Vishivanka? Yeah, again, never heard of it. Feared for 10 years as the Dragon of Dojima, mercilessly killing his patriarch with his own 2 hands. Kiryu Kazuma! Taking him on, a fugitive from the United States convicted of first-degree murder. Daniel Feldman. And now, no time limit, no rules.
You must die.
my god, that's a fucking wrestler. There we go. Def Jam flashbacks. What, of the wrestler? The great Kazuma Kiryu has shown off his killer Yakuza style. Here's the next challenger. Former Muay Thai middleweight champion. Yaiwayan Probak. This will be Kazuma Kiryu's first movie. Which kind of fight will we see? And now, the gong. I'm gonna guess furry cures, you're pregnant. That's my first guess every time someone says guess what? You're pregnant. Former Muay world champion, G. That is not fair. My eyes! I love these. And today you're dressed as an investor. I am dressed as a Yakuza, thank you very much. Who's the next fighter? Is it gonna be Majima? The past 3 years, he has yet to lose a single fight. The Vegas Underground Fight Circuit champion, Harry Buster Holmes. So, meet again.
即時と副上司お好みは
その日本語意味分かって使ってんのか
無敵の極道隊無敗の地下王者注目の一戦今ゴングです
Like Mafia? Alright, here we go. Let me take my shirt off for this. No, wrong shirt. Hang on, let me take my shirt off for this. That didn't do it. Shirt. Hello? Shirt? There we go. I have abilities to upgrade. Oh, I got 17 of them. Okay. Where's the one that does increased damage? That one's the heat thing. That one's damage. That one's health. Herculean fist and throw. So that boosts the health. Cookie for YY. Thank you for the peck dance, Valkyrie. Take a low stance and charge. Changing your style immediately. Charge holding. Running uppercut. Feint punch. Rush combo.
My day
7.
be so fine. Deadpool. Morning.
My day do be so fine, don't you worry. Soul. Rad Mastery, Essence of Disarming. Wrath. When you're first against the start of battle, sends an enemy flying, the heat gauge will increase dramatically. Heat gauge will rise when you skillfully evade while in a calm state. Increase the climate gauge, allows for heat to return to be in climax mode. Yes. That requires 50, that requires 50, 85, 50, 50. Minute, grab, wrath, dullard, sensors, essence, heat, climax 2, which requires 50, wrath 10. That one. God. Here we go. Yes. And yes. They got a black guy speaking Japanese. Amazing. Black people can speak Japanese. So. Also, there's his neck right there. Ooh, I did it! As my victory. Now it's your turn to do some work. Don't worry. I'll keep my promise. I told you. I keep it fair. Nice. Alrighty then. Nope. There we go. Kiryu. So, you wanted to know about the Tojo Clan 10 billion, and about the Tojo Clan third chairman covered up the robbery. But then a family patriarch named Nishikimiya exposed it at an emergency officers meeting. Do I watch movies with subtitles? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I watch movies with subtitles. It's here's the thing. It's like movies with subtitles for foreign films is an absolute necessity. The question is, do you watch them for, your native language, which I do as well. Because a lot of the time I will just sort of I can kind of I'm normally focusing on something else, and then I just want to look to the and then I'll look back at my whatever it is I'm watching, and if I missed a beat, normally I can read faster than it takes for them to do some dialogue. My best guess is that Nishikiyama killed the third chairman. Busy as he's been, I wouldn't be surprised to hear he's gunning for the title of fourth chairman. Maybe you're right. But right now, the Tojo clan is practically in civil war. The third chairman's dead, and a successor has yet to be chosen. Which means, the man who recovers the 10 billion yen will be named fourth chairman. After Nishikiyama's big reveal caused them all to tear each other apart, of course. Chivalry among Yakuza is a joke. But it turns out the 10 billion yen was actually stolen by a woman named Yumi. Got that one on an anonymous tip. What? The Tojo clan conducted their own investigation and found out her sister, Mizuki, had closed down Ares and vanished right before the theft. So, that means they're both prime suspects. But neither of them have turned up. Therefore, Mizuki's daughter, Haruka. Say that again? The Tojo clan has been searching for Mizuki's daughter. Haruka is safe with me right now. The Nani from Kiryu is never gets old. Nani? 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 I should probably make that. I need to make that like a fucking auto command when we're playing Yakuza games. It's just a case of someone says Nani in chat, and you just have the fucking Kiryu line of Nani? Haruka? So that's who it is. 2 days ago, a strange woman hiding her face showed up. She asked me to find a girl by the name of Haruka. If someone knows where I can go to get Kiryu Kazuma saying Nani, like a clean plate of Kiryu saying Nani, let me know. Because then it'll make my life a lot easier when I add it into StreamerBot and make the thing do the thing of if I'm playing a video game that has Yakuza or Like a Dragon in it, and someone uses the words Nani or what or whatever the other text commands are in any of these places, then we'll play this audio clip. Thank you for the hyper himbo, Sir Dragon. Is it possible this woman was Yumi or Mizuki? Not sure. From only the glimpse I caught of her face, I couldn't say for sure if it was either of them. I didn't last this long by working with people I don't know. So, I sent her away. Nanda. Alright. Got it. You have a visitor.
客？
見に行くぞ。足元注意しろ。
何？
Nani? Nani? Damn, this is a complex
驚いていいぜ。ここがサイの河原の本当の姿だ。5年前、警視庁は50台のカメラを取り付けた。テロ防止なんかが名目だが、所詮大して役には立ってねえ。だがよ、俺は実際にこの目で見てるんだ。
Damn.
1万台のカメラを設置してな。
10,000?
おい、客の様子を見せろ。
はい。
Fuck's sake. Oh.
伊達さん。
Is he with someone?
何があったんだ？
奴の行動をたどってみるか。奴の映ってる他の映像を出してみろ。
Jesus Christ, this person must have terabytes of space.
なんとも落ちぶれちまったもんだ。
伊達さんを知ってるのか？
ボス、10分前の映像です。
ん？
Uh-oh, they took the girl. Oh, fuck, they actually did take the girl.
くそ。
ボス、トラブルです。
なんだ？
ライブ映像に回します。
桐生、伊達がやばいぞ。
Alright, time to beat up some homeless people. Here we go. I'm really exhausted. Heard some explosions, feeling myself like an ant who can be squashed any time. Wait! Hold on. You're in Ukraine right now? The fuck you doing watching me? Also, I have abilities unlocked. Jesus Christ, I'm getting a lot of abilities. All this time, I just didn't put two together. Alright, what was I gonna put? Yep. No, on that thingy. Running uppercut on that thingy. Nani. I don't have the Nani thingy diggy yet, sorry, so. Quick blow. Deliver a quick blow after performing a quick step. The move and its power vary depending on the direction. Charge knee strike, regard. Combo resist, charge attack, charge up, attack. Changing your battle style immediately after getting hit with an attack that doesn't knock you. Defang mastery, combo resist, large weapon mastery. Put up your guard again right after an attack breaks you. A mighty knee strike and a low stance. There we go. But you got used to it. I don't know if I would ever get used to explosions. Like, in video games, sure, I'm a little bit fine with explosions, but that's because it's a video game. As far as, fucking, you know, real explosions, I feel like I'd be fucking up. I need to help my friend. Nope, not this way. This way. Where the... Oh, hey, another, coin key. Oh, damn, what are all these coin keys about? You would like to live in Australia, as you're sure there is silent and peaceful environment. Comparatively, yes, absolutely. Comparatively, you are absolutely right. However, the economy is shit right now. You're gonna have a very hard time trying to live here with the amount of rent it costs.
こいつデカだぞ。そうだ、間違いねえ。俺はな、昔こいつにパクられたんだ。
もう十分だろ。
まだだ。 100回殺しても足らねえ。
電車は引っかんでる。
一発殴んねえと気が済まねえ。
バラしまえ。
そうだ、バラしまった方がいい。
何言っても無駄か。
ああ、無駄だ。あんたの話聞く義理はねえ。なんだよ。どうする気だ。
よせ、桐生。
そんなにこの人やりてえなら。
But yeah, like, you know, food's interesting. I'm gonna be real with you. Housing market is a bit crazy, but that's because Australians have the belief that when you purchase a home, it's investment first and home second. So, but that's just a weird Australian thing. Bang, boom, and headbutts. Did it. So, but if you find some housemates to help like divide the cost of rent, you should be okay. And then, you know, public transport's alright, especially if you're like around the city. Explosions in real life feel like an earthquake. Your home is shaking, your windows look like someone is trying to squeeze them out. Damn.
久しぶりですね、伊達さん。桐生、例の子さらった車はバッティングセンターに止まった。安心しろ。この情報量はつけにしといてやる。
ああ。
Thank you.
あいつは元警官だ。警察の情報を横流ししてたのを俺が告発したんだ。その後は知らねえが、こんなとこで会うとはな。
Damn, didn't think he was that. So you had to check out a few websites to find the sound file, but so far it seems like you can hook it up with Bakumati and Judgment Karaoke. No Nani though. Nah. Wait, the Majima family?
よりによって真島の兄さんか。
Shit. I'm gonna have to solve this. Date-san, can you wait a Serena? With those injuries, you're no match for the Majima family. I'm worried about Reina. I don't want her left alone. I get it. Just watch your back. Also, nope, I'm doing something. Alright. Over to the batting cages we go. Alright, looking around, I bet he's doing Alright, over to the batting cages. Come on, Kiryu, faster. God
Don't make me send you to Jesus myself.
It's why it's better to keep your windows open during the warm time of the year. There's less chance they can be damaged. Okay, I understand having them open for like a warmer time, so then that way you can get air circulation and shit. But you're also talking about the fact that they rattle because of explosions. I know it's been a while, but explosions aren't part of the normal warm season, right? Oh my god, there's more. Through the batting cages we go. You let the shockwave come into your apartment to disperse all that energy. When windows are closed, they work like a stopper and receive. Yeah, like I get why you don't want the windows closed, because the thing is that there's a huge like air pressure going off when you have an explosion go off, and depending on the proximity, like I've seen a video in Turkey when this happened with like fucking fertilizer and gasoline or something like that. Depending on the intensity of the explosion and the proximity, you can have the windows break because of the sheer wind force. It's fucked. What's also fucked is people just throwing fucking... Ooh, hello? Hey, another coin locker key. I need to figure out where these go. Alrighty. Hey. You have to do that? Hello? Oh, there we go.
久しぶりやのキルちゃんわしゃ嬉しゅうてたまらんのや堂島の竜と直接やり合える本物の命張った喧嘩ができるキルちゃんならわかるやろなあ
Oh shit, he took that in stride.
笑いどころやないかやめろあ
あはるかを返せ
別に
Crazy.
ええでそこのドア入ったとこにおる
わ Alright.
言うたやろキルちゃんわしゃお前と勝負できりゃそれでええんじゃ
本気で言ってるのか
本気も本気大マジやなあもうこれ以上じらすなやキルちゃん行くで勝負や行くでキルちゃん
Oh, god damn it. Exciting even in nowadays. But this game, you look good in a suit. Thank you. I don't get to wear the suit too often. Like, this is the first time I'm wearing it on stream. There are a lot of problems with it. There is a lot of problems with it, but I feel like maybe I will actually like bother going to like a 3D artist to like do the changes and such like that to the original mesh I was provided and such, so then that way it's not a complete mess. Yes! But yeah, hi Freckles, welcome to the stream. I definitely do a bust of yours in that suit. That's my boy, Kiryu-chan. But whatever, I ain't done. It's over. I'm taking Haruka. Oh, hell no. Oh. The fuck, Majima? Why would you do that? How do you make lots of money in the Yakuza? Drugs, kidnapping, protection rackets, illegal gambling, and drugs. That's how Yakuza make their money. The scene where Bruce Lee is fighting about 100 people. Oh yeah, that's kind of cool. Seriously, Majima? Ridiculous.
Haruka.
Oh yeah, prostitution. Well, that. Oh, and human trafficking. Aww. Give her a hug. Come on. Give her a hug. Give her a hug. Make her feel worthy.
Haruka. お前のことを守ってやれなかった。怖かったろ。
Oh yeah, the organ trade, that was another thing. There's a lot of terrible things.
でも外が急にうるさくなって、そしたら知らないおじさんが来て逃げなって。
知らないおじさん？
What?
誰だ、キリュウ？
いや。
お礼を言ったら、ペンダントは持ってるかって。
何のことだ？
これ。 ユミお姉ちゃんが。
Why don't we just, like, snap it
お母さん
open?
はなんでお母さんに会えないの？
ごめんね。
嫌だよ。お母さんに会いたい。ユミお姉ちゃん、お願い。お母さんに会わせて。ねえ、お願い。
ねえ、はるかちゃん。今日はこれを持ってきたの。お母さんが持ってたペンダント。
お母さんの？
そう。はるかちゃんにって預かってきたんだ。だからもう少し待ってあげて。ね。
うん。
大事なお守りだから、これ持ってること知らない人に話しちゃダメよ。すごく大事な、はるかちゃんだけのお守りだから。
そのペンダントを知らないおじさんは欲しがったのか？
大事に持ってなさいって、これには100億の価値があるんだよって。
Now, who would know that?
鍵付きか。無理やりこじ開けるってな。
ダメ
！Both the women are just like, nope, you can't force open puzzles. That's not how you do this.
真っ暗だったから全然。でもその人、桐生のおじさんにペンダントのこと伝えてくれって。
俺の名前を？
何者なんだ一体？
さあな。一つだけ確かなのは、俺たちはいつの間にか事件の中心に置かれていたってことだ。
I thought Yakuza games should look like a GTA clone, but it looks more.
おい、待てこら
！We're getting more Nishikima as he's like, you know, descending down into the pool of
柏木さんが世話してる組がケツ持ってる店にみかじめ取りに行ったっての本当か？
バッチリ稼いできてやったぜ。文句ねえだろ。
ふざけんな！なんでそんなことした？
おいおい、そんなことも説明しねえとわからねえのかよ。
Go on, explain it to us.
何？ウゴのタケノコみてえに次から次へとビルが。
Do you want to know what Soviet games? No, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Like, here's the thing. Triad, Yakuza, Mafia, and there's other like clever names that there's other clever names that exist for different like organized crime families and shit like that. But like I'm not too interested in like, oh, how these organizations make their money and such like that. It's all very simple every single time. There is a group of people doing some illegal shit, and they see it in their vested interest that if they're going to continue doing illegal shit, that they should come together in a sort of family. It becomes more organized, which means that there's a lower risk of failure, because then other families can, you know, pull up on the downturn and what have you. But the recognition is that you were always going to have a positive year or something like that. Illegally selling toilet paper. Oh, Jesus.
立ってた時代はとっくに終わってんだ。これからは限られた島を力で奪ってったもんが勝つんだよ。
筋ってもんがあんだろうが。
No, he didn't.
What?
Oh, hi there, Eviscerator. Welcome to the stream. We're playing Yakuza Kiwami. You've been eviscerated. No. No, I'm still here. Don't worry about it. Yeah, hi. Welcome. Alright, hang on a sec. Ding, dong, and... boop. There we go. I'm here. I'm good. Alrighty then. We're right now going through Yakuza Kiwami, which is pretty fun. I still prefer Like a Dragon, but we can have Yakuza. We can have Kiwami.
3000万どうしても用意してって言ったのはお前だろうが俺のやり方が気に食わねえって言うならお前のやり方で今すぐにでも直径に上がってみろや
You played through Kiwami 1 and 2 yourself recently. You started 3, but put on a rain check to gain infinite wealth. I'm okay with Kiwami. I feel like I'm going through Kiwami quicker than I did Yakuza 0, but I still prefer Like a Dragon with its turn-based. Ah, shit.
てめえ恩を後で返す気か
すいません本当にすいませんこの詫びは縁故でも詰めて
いらねえよてめえの子分すらろくにしつけられねえグズの指が一体何の役に立つって言うんだはあ
すいませんすいませんすいません
He was not cut out to be a leader. He wasn't expecting to be one, and when it was put upon him, he wasn't prepared, and he wasn't like, you know, he just didn't have the right mentality or skill.
風間の親父の耳に入る前でよかったぜこんな情けねえ話で親父を失望させたくねえからな今回だけは不問にしといてやる次はねえからな
ありがとうございますありがとうございます
桐生ならこんなことには
Yep.
まあとにかくしっかりやってくれ
Kiwami is pretty short, all things considered. You like it better than 0 for that reason? Fair enough.
88 paid me to say Dame Denis. Dame Yo, Dame Na no Yo Antagar, Tsukida, Tsukijit.
Dame dame, dame o, dame namio. Antaga, suke du se sukite. Dame mare. Yeah. He was given more assholes to lead. Like, here's the issue. Here's the issue that was made is that Kiryu did all this to protect his brother Nishikima. That one we obviously saw happening. And meanwhile, Kazuma, like the head of the family, Kazuma, he obviously had a favorite. Nishiki was not his favorite, and he was in the very difficult position that there was a part of his family that needed guidance. And he went with this sort of blinders thing of, oh, if Kiryu can't do it, then clearly the next closest person can, which is Nishiki. But up until this point, he hasn't given a shit about, Nishiki, and there's probably like no special training involved with him or anything like that. And so Nishiki gets thrown into a leadership position when nothing in his Yakuza career has actually demonstrated that anyone decided to give him any practice or training, and no one... Yeah. The Yakuza Palace, I would be selling those luxury jackets like the one you have now. It's an okay jacket, but like look at all this like clip through and shit. It's absolutely insane. It's terrible. I need to fix that. But yeah, and so it doesn't help that all of this he's doing is to try and make his sister better. And then there comes that thing of like, he's absolutely, like, he has no idea how to, in this point in time, how to hold himself up as like a leader in the Yakuza. Because quite frankly, he has not learned from, he has not learned from Kiryu Kazuma's guidance, or his example, I should say, of, just being steadfast in his position, holding to his ideals, and not putting himself under others. He only has himself under others for those who have commanded his respect when he's given it back to them and such. Meanwhile, Nishiki, he's just, at the start, he was just too innocent compared to most other Yakuza.
To elaborate, because I don't know what I just said.
It would have been better if Kashagawa had chosen people who were actually trustworthy, considering they're robbing their own gang under Nishiki. Here's the thing. Those guys were the biggest money sellers under Kashiwagi, and he got rid of them. Now, there could have been two reasons for why that happened. The first one being that he was hoping that with the moneymakers would help improve the family, and Nishiki could learn from them a little bit. But obviously he's faulting Nishiki because there's no way he was going to learn from them if they weren't going to respect him. Or second problem, he thought Nishiki was going to be like Kiryu, which there was no evidence to support that. So either way, like the Kazuma family was kind of fucked because of Kiryu not being where they wanted him and deciding, oh, we'll just use Nishiki because he's by association. Fucking Majima would have been a better person for the Kazuma family to poach. And so now we see Nishiki go down his, like, fucking, you know, spiral of evil and joining the Omni clan and shit. Or the Omni Alliance. Yeah, I got a point for talking to the... Alright, you.
はるかちゃん疲れてたみたいね。ぐっすり眠っちゃって。キリュウちゃん、今日はどうするの？
Kiryu-chan, what are you gonna do today?
何か
I need to look for new
新しい手がかり
I'll
を
try hitting the streets.
大丈夫？
Will you be okay?
キリュウち
You
ゃん
always
す
seem
ぐ
to get
変なこ
yourself
とに
caught
巻
up
き
in
込まれ
the
ちゃう
worst kind of trouble. Alrighty. That requires getting Majima from Shimano, who is unlikely in the best scenario. Fair enough, but you get where I'm going. Hello. I'm from Purgatory. My name is Mogusa. I have been working for the florist. Sir, would you come see the boss if you don't mind? I guess there's some trouble involving his family, and it's put him in a real foul mood. Not that he tells us anything. The florist has a family? One that left him a long time ago. The boss's son is just another one of his town's hooligans. Though, to be fair, he's never been seen. Oh, hello again, Majima. Majima. What's the hurry, Kiryu-chan? You weren't trying to snake me out without saying hi now, would you? This is the path I'm on. Backhand that shit. Yeah, but here's the thing. Majima is a leader of a family, and he's demonstrated this leadership role, especially back in Yakuza 0 as the Lord of the Night for the Grand Cabaret. So Majima is not... He is not inexperienced in leading people. And what's more is he has demonstrated that if you're not going to be following his path, granted, it's a bit of a crazy path, if you're not going to follow his path, then you're going to be against his path, and you're going to have to deal with him. He's like the leader in Yakuza that is, you know, instilling fear of failure as his leadership role, which is probably not the best way of doing it, but considering you're surrounding yourself with fucking Yakuza, it's probably the better way to go than humility, which is what Nishiki was doing. Nishiki fucked up the minute he went to one of his underlings and was just like hands and feet on the ground begging for money. Absolutely terrible move. That is just instantaneously not a good sign as a leader, and you are going to get trampled over by anyone else who wants to be in your position, which is everyone who was sitting under you who was expecting Kazuma to be, or Kiryu to be leading them. Everybody relax. Kiryu-chan. Can't avoid fighting with Majima. I need to be prepared at all times so I can face him whenever. Yes! I have learned Dragon Strength 1. New abilities, but let me read my cell phone. Kiryu-san, please help. A hostess at the Shine Club hasn't gotten any customers asking for her at all. She says that she won't quit until she meets Kiryu-san. It honestly helped me out if she quit, so could you please come by sometime? Shine Club. Alright. Wait, is this... that's Stardust. Where the fuck is Shine? Lottery ticket booth. Kazuma. Deborah. Mock. Sega. Sega! That's Purgatory. Where the fuck is the Shine? Kanto, Shine. Oh, that's where it is. Radio. So this way and Oi, get off him. We're intervening. Get off him. You're gonna be drawing freckles? Nice! Anything cool? Alright, hang on, am I going the right way? Yes, I am. So, Shine is the next one. Out of the way! Get out of the way! Shine's on page 3. Cool. Noted. There we go. Shine. Better go to the med to gather information. God damn it. Seems pretty upset. Why are you upset? Bikini, I forgot to bring my glasses. I skipped out of work early. Yeah, I don't have anything on him to give him glasses. Sucks to be you. It really sucks to be you. Huh? Hello? You're from... What do you want? Well, to tell you the truth, it's gone missing. What? He was trying to figure out a new, and then he had this moment of clarity. He says, I got it, the perfect hiding base, and now we can't contact him. We have no idea, and he's been gone a long time. He's doing it to gloat, like a bratty little kid who's too good at hide and seek. Please, Kiryu, it's up to you to find the boss. The Majima family can't go on without him like this. Don't be so dramatic. He bought this upon himself. Regardless of me, you have to figure it out on your own. So harsh. Just out of curiosity, you have no idea where he might be hiding. Well, we're talking about the boss here, and he did just tell us to build these ridiculous giant objects the other day. Maybe he's somewhere in plain sight. Plain sight? Yeah, I think he'd expect you to find him in some back alley or something, and so if I were him, I'd hide inside one of those things he made us build, I guess. I'll keep an eye out for anything suspicious on the main thoroughfares. If he finds me, though, I'm sure I'll have to fight him. Thank you so much, sir. Oh, hey, it's hiding in plain sight. Yes. Hello.
どいてください。急いでるんです。
そんなに急いでもいいことないって。どうせなら、俺らとゆっくりベッド。
Leave the girl alone. Leave her alone. You might have to hit the NBA first before you can enter Shrine for whatever reason. Yeah. I don't know how much of a delay there is between, like, me getting through this game and everyone else seeing it. Ow, fuck you. There we go. Defeat one Kiwami opponent. Who the fuck is Kiwami? Oh, I got myself some bindings. Nice. Out of the way! I'm doing important shit! Ten seconds. Oh, shit. Maybe refresh your browser? There might, or pause and play, the stream, so see if it'll catch you up. Alright, weapon shop. Hello. Buy equipment. Any new equipment? No? Alright. What are you doing, dude? Oh no, it's falling apart. Could not care. We got main mission shit to do, and I'm gonna... Oh. What's going on, old man? Oh, it's you! I saw your achievement in the arena. I did not think you would defeat Buster. Oh, how exciting. Thankfully, though, the MEB is about 5 seconds. Just don't take their offer to take you back to Shine. You watched the match? Oh, they said you were a master of brawling, but although your blows were quite beastly, your movements seemed rushed. Your style is still unrefined in my eyes. You lack the heart of a true martial artist. Really is a shame. What are you trying to say, old man? Hmm? I know this may seem abrupt, but do you want to be my student? Depending on your potential, you could develop your talents 100 times over. Alright, sure. I'm pretty sure you're in my thingy-majiggy on being able to get more dragon skill. You'll become my student then, starting today. You have the honor of calling yourself a student of Komaki. Just so. My name is Satoru Komaki. You're fearless to commit to an apprenticeship with a man whose name... Cookie! For eating Hawaiian pizza! Here's your cookie. You're Yeah, for a man you don't know, I'll give you that. You said earlier that I don't understand the heart of a martial artist. You can actually teach me that? Patience, young man. There are steps to take. I will teach you the Komaki style in due time. And that time is now. The martial arts school has thrived since the Edo period. The style's distinctive feature is the bare-handed combat, therefore it is still quite useful in this day and age. I see. But it's been nearly 20 years since I've had a student, let alone a proper disciple. What shall I teach you first? Very well, I've decided. To start, I will teach you the art of self-defense. What do you mean by that? With that fierce face, I doubt you live in a peaceful existence. You often clash with the thugs and hooligans of Kamurocho with your life on the line. Do you not? Well, yeah. As I said, you are my first disciple in nigh 20 years. I cannot allow a rarity like that to be needlessly killed. In order to receive my training, you must survive. Well, if it makes me stronger, there's no reason to refuse. I accept your challenge. Good! Let's begin. Now, Kiryu, I will teach you my finest defensive skill. The technique is called Komaki Shot Stopper. Wait, are you talking about guns? Indeed. Ours is a bare-handed style, but that does not mean our opponents will play by the same rules. My predecessors had to find a way to fight against matlock firearms. Hey, the Edo period has ended, old man. Matlock guns are long gone. Worry not. I made improvements to the technique so that it works as effectively against the weapons of modern warfare. It is the master's duty to evolve with the changing times. I see. So you're prepared. Just so. But words are like wind. Now is the time for action. Action. Komaki's training. Very well. Show me the Komaki shot stopper. These two men are each carrying a model gun. You will not die if you are shot, but it will most certainly hurt. You must learn to focus. Wielding a gun, it's an effective skill against strong. Close with, demonstrate the twice. Nice. Nice. Did it. I'm gonna go to sleep. Have fun. Not to worry, Eviscerator. Thank you for coming in and you know, keeping me company for this long. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad I'm enjoying Kiwami and that you were able to also enjoy that. Next time you come, bring a wooden sword. In order to learn the basics of swordplay, a wooden katana will be needed. Noted. The conditions required to receive training can be reviewed on the Dragon Style page. Under Abilities in the pause menu, check for new requirements between each session. Nice. 1,000 points. Stronger than 1, stronger than 10, stronger than 100 men. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Hi there, Het. Yeah, I'm looking pretty cool. Running. In we go. Alright, let's get a cutscene. Is that Yami? Or is that the,
それがあんたの息子か。
That your son?
桐生、お前、いつからそこに？
いい女だな。趣味のいいガキだ。
まあ、悪かねえ。どこぞの組長の娘でなけりゃな。
この町の組か？
いや、浅草のケチな組さ。お前向きの情報は来てねえよ。今日は無駄足だったな。
そうか。
Is that right? We're just watching a kid. Is that it? Anything fun here? No. Okay. Very tempting, but I don't think they will allow me. Ooh! Welcome to the Coliseum! Check fighter information. Individual matches. Oh, nice. Rank F. Alright. And then for Coliseum points, I can get different images of shit. Wooden katana, slime gun, zap, bog, naki. Training gear. Gauntlets. A champion's ring. Black belt. Stone of enduring. Charismatic autograph. Goddess of children amulet. A crystal ball. Primitive sword. Crystal skull, orichalcum, a golden dragon statue. Interesting. All right. I am going to wait. How? Oh wait, I got 30 minutes. What am I thinking? I can go for a little bit longer. I can go for a little bit longer. For some reason, I thought I was gonna. I don't think it's fair to leave so soon. Also, what the fuck is... wait, what... Oh, I can't go in there? Alright, never mind. Up the stairs we go.
Nana!
Who are you?
俺
もしかしてお前田村か
Tamara?
そうです。
お前
You're supposed to be dead.
恥ずかしいことで青木からでも
Yeah, that's right. I heard you were investigating my case when they found your body in Tokyo Bay.
さすが花屋さんだ。完璧に。
どういうことだ
Care to elaborate?
実は5年前サイの河原に入ってボスと知り合ったんです。そして情報屋としての自分が足元にも及ばないことを感じてね。それで姿を隠してボスの部下として働こうと決めたんですよ。
でもどうして死んだの
But why lie about dying?
まあ俺には幸い嫁も子供もいなかったんで別に死んでも悲しむ人間ありゃしない。それならいっそのこと自分を消しちまった方が情報が集めやすいと思いましてね。それで花屋さんに頼んだんです。
そうか。
I see.
でも
But Koei is still looking for you.
今
Even
でもお
now.
前のことを探していたぞ。
そうですか。
Really?
やったな。
But
俺のこ
please,
とは
Kiryu-san,
青木には黙っていてく
don't
ださい。
tell him about
お願いしま
me.
す。
I beg you.
ああ、
Fine.
わかった。
I will.
それじゃあまた。
Well then, let's get going.
Okay, that's it. I'm gonna spit in your mouth.
Do not spit in my mouth. Alright, I need to get out of here. I feel like there would have been a key somewhere, but I guess there isn't.
Whoa.
Schedule a meeting with the porcelain prince. Hilarious. Oi! Don't be fighting women. Get your hands off her.
とりあえずてめえ殴るわ。
後悔するなよ。
Yeah, I got myself stunned down for my troubles. Oh, hello. Another coin locker key. I still need to figure out where they go.
Whoa.
A slim woman. Don't be an icy bitch woman. I lose everything I had on that pachinko. I know you've got some cash on you. How about you and me head to the hotel? You can help me forget all my woes.
Good.
Stop it. She's not interested.
Huh?
What the hell's your problem? Ka-ching! More completion points. Are you okay? Huh?
誰だこの男。
知らない。
この野郎。
あ、すまん。余計なことしちゃった。
Going on between me and her.
俺はてっきり。
Serious.
覚悟は。
ちょっと。
よせ、落ち。
おい、そんなもん出してどないする気や。うおー、せい。どうだ。
Who is that?
せい、参ったか。
おい、ちょっとお前。
Who is that?
さあ、今のうちに逃げて。
そうじゃねえ。っていうか、やめろ。
そちらの女性も怖がっている。女性を連れて逃げなさい。
違うんだ。人の話。
What the fuck is going on?
ほら、何やってるんだ。
あ、お前らさんご苦労様です。
大
丈夫。
な。
ああ、あの二人がカップ。
は？いや。
署まで同行してもらうぞ。
違うんだ。
Not what you think.
一緒に警察に行きましょう。
は？
私も勘違いをした。そしてあなたも。
何言ってんだ。
Self-defense.
お互い正当
Don't
防衛
run, you're gonna be in deep trouble.
逃げる？スポーツマンは決して逃げ。
何？
何？
つまりどういうことなんだ？
あの男が女性から金をせびろうとして女性は嫌がって止めに入ったら男が俺に喧嘩をふっかけてきたんだ。
そうなの？
はい、すみません。お騒がせして。
そして途中この顔のでかい男が
そうです。
な。
もういいか？
すみませんでした。
いや、もう。
いや、それでは許されない。そうだ、私に同じ技をかけてください。いや、好きな技を好きなだけかけてもらって。さあ、遠慮なく。さあ。
Damn, he's big.
すまなかったな。
いえ。
それにしても。
では篠原さん、最近は物騒ですから。
Another. Oh, hi, passenger. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm playing a Yakuza game, and I'm in a Yakuza suit. How's it going?
それでまあちょっとした観光に。でもこういう場所を歩くのは慣れていないんで。
So I got lost, and I saw you and that couple.
本当に
I'm really sorry for the trouble I caused.
申し訳ありません。
そうだったのか。
So that's what happened.
迷惑かけたついで。
Maybe this was all meant to be. I can show you around.
本当ですか？
Really? Thank you. Let's see. You have anywhere specific you want to go? I kind of came back to town recently, so I'm probably not the perfect tour guide. All that exercise worked up at us. Why don't we grab something to eat? If you're looking for a good place, barbecue is the way to go.
Hey.
If you need a like raid and dash, those oh, this guy's cheekbones? This guy? Yes, absolutely. Not mine though. Mine are funky. Like look at this. And also there's like all kinds of clipping going off with my outfit as you can see here. So I need to get to Shine, which is in the other direction.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Oh, look, it's him again. Got it. First time. Oh wait. Bare Necessities. Cool name. Cool name there, Bare Necessities. I respect that. That's Asia, and Shine is further down. What? Ridiculous.
この面気に食わねえな。
目障り。
Wow, I'm going up in levels very quickly. Your ult account for my dev stuff. I didn't realize I was on this one. LOL. Not to worry. Got a slightly better silver bracelet. Nice. Gonna go into here, eat some food. That's a nice. Dink. Things in handy. Heat. Yay. Hope stream is going well. Stream's been going fairly good. It's been going fairly well. I have been able to stop myself from getting from like ordering takeout this evening by having like a ready-cooked meal available for me in the kitchen. And I'm trying to go like at least a paycheck of not ordering takeout. If I can do that, then I reckon I am like absolutely perfect for you know, saving money and what have you. So yeah. Boop. Thank you for the boops. Oh hey, Valkyrie! I didn't know you were still here. Nice. Hi. Valkyrie next to you. Then bam. Get beat on, sucker.
That's the boy.
Nice try with the knife. Of course you are. Well, yeah. Well, you look. I deal with a lot of Americans normally who are deciding to like come along to this server and what have you. So what's more is just the passenger. You might be like, you know, a little bit sleepy. That's totally okay and what have you. If you need to like raid and dash, it's fine. Get up, have a stretch, drink a little water, go to the bathroom, whatever it is. I'll take care of all your viewers. I should try and have that a knife thingamajig. Takeout really hurts the pocketbook. Yeah, I need to make sure not to do that. Because here's the thing. I look at my bank transactions and I'm like, oh, there must be something here suspicious. There must be something here that couldn't possibly be me. It is me. All the transactions are me. And the two most, like, expensive transactions that don't need to happen are these things. Takeout delivery via Uber Eats, DoorDash, or what have you. And furry art commissions. I know this is going to disappoint Freckles, but I can't commission Freckles for a while. It's gonna be tragic. I really want art from Freckles. And they were like, oh, I was in their stream, or actually, let me give you a shout out as well. Let me give you a shout out real quick, Freckles. That Freckles. So yeah, I was in their stream like one day, just lurking and such, really pleased as chuff that I was able to see it. And they were like, oh hey, like they remembered me, and they were like, oh, it would, you know, I would you know, the zebra was okay to draw, it wasn't too hard as far as I know, and they would be interested in drawing me again. And I was just sort of like, because I get concerned, I get worried that sometimes my zebra may not be a fun thing for people to draw. I worry because of the stripes. I know it doesn't look like it right now, but, like, hang on a sec, maybe I can make it look like that right now, but my zebra has stripes. Look at that. Look at the stripes on my zebra. You can barely tell whenever I'm wearing clothes a lot of the time, unless you look at my arms, but I have stripes. So, yeah. Alrighty, Cabaret. Tell me about Shine. Yep. Do you want me to take you there? Yes, please. So yeah. As much... Thank you for the shout out. Not to worry. Not to worry. If you play any video games and such like that, I will definitely need to do a shout out clip at one point. I don't know if you would have any clips of you while you're in the middle of your drawing and being like, God damn it, Grant. Your jokes are not funny. There's more to me than me being a dog from Chile. I have range. I only draw. Okay, fair enough. Prices start at 8,400 yen for the night, plus a service fee of 3,150. If you'd like to request a particular, it will cost an additional. Will you be joining us tonight, sir? No. No, thank you. Let me recheck. Hostess at the shrine. All right.
いらっしゃいませ。
はじめまして、リナです。
Hi, Rina. I'm gonna be real with you. I thought I was going to be paired up with Majima. I thought I was gonna have Majima with, you know, interrupt me. Woo, experience points.
私ももらっていい？いただきます桐生さんって
いや
あ、そう
なんだ
えそれも全然
そうだな
そうなんだすごい私の
Are you
いろ
saying
い
you
ろ
need
教えて
more
ください
experience
よ
hitting on chicks?
私そういう男っぽい話題は
Absolutely.
全然詳しくなくて
Passenger, think about this for a minute. I'm a 30-year-old zebra. I'm playing video games right now and streaming to an audience. I got no GF. I got no charisma. There is no Riz in the Tism, okay? As much as everyone would love to meme that there's Riz in the Tism, there is no charisma in autism, okay? It's a fucking nerf, alright? That is some Dark Souls, like, you know, debuffing nonsense.
実は私まだキャバそれはもちろんというかですね私が男だったらお客はい私女の子が好きなんです右を向いても左を向いても可愛い女の子ばかり羨ましいでしょ更衣室だって女同士だから桐生さんも男の人のこと何頼みます？
Chicken karage sounds like a good idea.
頼む。
キャバってお給料いいじゃないですか。可愛いよ。そうなったらピンチです。今のうちにできるだけ稼いでしっかり貯金しとかないとな。
何？
今流行ってるんですよ一眼レフ。写メよりもよっぽど綺麗だしこだわりがある感じがちょっと大人って感じ。でもなかなかお金がたまらなくて全然買えないんですよね。
Thank you. I do it like thank you, Freckles. This is going to be seared into my brain alongside the time a woman at a bar told me I had lovely blue eyes.
それが最近金銭感覚が麻痺してきちゃってこんなんじゃいつまで経ってもカメラ買えないよ。
You've got to spend it to make it. This is going to be some terrible advice.
僕してるのかな。
そうだな。
確かに歩かなくなってからちょっと体が楽になりましたし深夜
どうだ
Time is money and money can't buy happiness, so you didn't waste that cash. You just spent it on your health.
そっか桐生さんいいこと言いますね。それにお金
おいおい
おいおいAlrighty. How much longer am I going to need to talk to her?
女の子同士でおしゃべりでおすすめされたお店に実際行ってみると
なんだ
そうなのかな。だから同じお店にばっかり何度も通っちゃった
そうだな
とはいえそういう失敗も含めていろんなお店に行ってみようと思うんですよ。どういうところがいいのかな。
Tasty ramen.
どうだ
男の人ってホットラーメンが好きですよね。スープの味が
そうだ
な。それいいかも。店に入るの本当ですか
Alright, can I leave? Yes, I can.
いや
Woo! Yep, fair enough.
ありがとうございます。
Alrighty. Got through the cabaret shit.
桐生さん本当
Nice.
Now that is what we call a skill issue.
Shut up, that was not a skill issue, Furry Cures. Alrighty, over to the batting. Actually, wait, what time is it? Oh, it's more thugs. Alrighty then, let's fight in the rain, bastards. Damn. There we go. We get some money, we get some experience. All is well in the world. Oh my god, shady lady. What's wrong?
Nani?
Nani? I don't know if you can hear it, but I just want this over now. I want this to end.
Huh? What?
I am not paying 10,000 yen. That's a fucking shakedown.
Huh?
Time to fight. Menacing man. Give him an old 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So strong. What's the matter? Are you done already? I'm so sorry. I hope this will cover the forgiveness fee. 20,000 yen. Yay! More monies for me. Thank you. I just went to a cabaret club. I need my monies back. Nope. Not interested. Move on, woman! Unhand me, woman!
Huh?
If you're going fishing, that means you haven't learned your lesson yet. Move, 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 move. Could not care. Moving on. She's a whore. She's terrible. Out of the way. Can't be distracted by cheap sex and overpriced cologne. Have you seen that from fucking what's Mahuzi? What We Do in the Shadows? Oh, god damn it. Alrighty. Where's the button? Why doesn't this thing... There we go. Alrighty then. That is going to be it for tonight, because, you know, it's about... It's like 9 p.m. for me right now. I reckon I've gone as far as I need to with this game. And what's more is it's opened me up for being able to do What's-a-Mahuzi, side quests until I get to the batting cages and what have you, so that should be also good. Ugh, excuse me. Ugh. Stretching! Oh, there we go. So that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you for the stream. Not to worry, Fury Cures. Thank you for coming along. I will be streaming again Friday night. It's going to more likely be Suicide Squad Friday night. Try and get that done and out of the way because I feel like I'm fairly close to the end of the story, and it looks like that there's all this end game content that they want you to take part in and such, which is like, you know, I understand. There is a lot of that element in there, the whole, words fail me, but I understand. Now, before all of you run off, we need to have a look at who it is that we're gonna go and raid. Sorry, I'm just like moving my screens all over the place. Let me just head on to... But the schedule says something else. I will fix it then. I'm the streamer. I get to pick my games. Thank you very much. Let's see. Let's see. We have all sorts of people online and streaming. Who could it be? Let's see. So, ooh, Code the Yoshi, right? Oh, wait, hang on. Zevin? Zevin? What's Zevin doing? Oh, they're doing next fest stream. Okay. I kind of want to go for Code the Yoshi. I don't know where Code the Yoshi is in their little thing. What in the world are they playing? I do not remember this dungeon. I do not remember that session in Final Fantasy XIV. Code's on or Spiky. Let's go for Spiky Cat then. It has been a long time since I've raided into Spiky Cat, and it looks like they're going into some homeworld right now, so they're like kind of this is a lot smooth, like a lot more toned down of a sort of a stream for them, where it's like, you know, logistics and what have you, which I think might be better. So we're gonna go and raid into them. Ding dong, Spiky Cat. And our raid message is going to be Nani. And if you have emotes, like, you know, staring emotes or something like that, you can go for that as well. I hope you'll all join in with me on that one, whether with your own emotes or anyone else's. And otherwise, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. I'm sorry for the suit being, like, really rubbish, like, as you can see with the weight paints and such. It was a very messy job, as you can see. I'm not really good at this. But otherwise, I hope you all have a good morning, afternoon. Not Zeeb is a cutie. We go with Nani. I hope you have a good afternoon, morning, or night, and hopefully I will see you all next time. Bye for now.